you all please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance, which will be led as usual by Mr. Rodell.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You know, and just before we start the meeting, if you haven't heard already, there was yet another shooting at a college campus in Oregon earlier today. I think so far 2 people have died and several were injured. So if you could just keep those people in your prayers and your thoughts today. And once again, thank you for always leading us in the pledge. It's comforting to know you're there, sir. Let's have a forum.
Victor Pérez,
Here.
René Rodríguez is absent, Anthony Miranda,
Here.
Mayor Jesus Ruiz,
Here.
Sergio Cox,
Here.
and Gloria Rodríguez is absent. Mayor, we have a forum.
Public comment.
We have no speakers for public comment.
All right. Number 5, presentation on the Ventana de Socorro. Mr. Ford.
I have a flyer that I meant to introduce out. My name is Tom Ford. I'm the business development director for Las Ventanas de Socorro. And this is Bill Clifton. He's the executive director of the Las Ventanas de Socorro. We have a facility out in the Northeast called Tri-Sun. And first thing we want to thank you all for inviting us to come and allowing us to come and give a quick update on the construction and what our parent company, Senior Care Centers, is bringing to the city of Socorro. It's a 120-bed skilled nursing and rehabilitation center for the residents of El Paso County, but it's being housed here in Socorro. From what I understand, this is the first skilled nursing facility of its type actually in the city limits of Socorro. I don't know if you guys have all seen it, but it's right there on Alameda Boulevard and Boone. It's a beautiful facility that we talked from the Sanchez family. They're actively involved in planning and the like. We will be opening for our first 3 patients, and I'll qualify that here in a second, November 9th, give or take. That's the scheduled time. Because what we have to do, because we're not a Texas Medicaid provider at this point, is what all skilled nursing facilities have to do is they have to take 3 private pay patients first, and they have to have a visit from
Dads
our
Department of Aging and Disability has to come in and do the survey from those 3 patients and then certify us as a Medicaid provider in the state of Texas. After they do that, then we can start accepting patients with Medicaid, Medicare, insurance, and all that stuff. So that's kind of the certification process.
And that usually takes about 30 days from mid-November point to the middle of December. So at the end of this particular calendar year, we'll be able to take patients. The facility will have there'll be skilled nursing, which means if you have any medical needs that can't be taken care of at home, or you don't necessarily need to be in a hospital again, you can come to this particular facility and receive good quality nursing care, medical care, as well as rehabilitation. This is not going to be a facility where you can bring a loved one, a relative, neighbor to come and park with. We have a significant amount of activities, bingo, bowling, dancing type activities that certain residents can take part in it. But it's going to be a facility where we can get people back either to home or they can reside there for as long as they need to. We're going to have an open house December the 3rd from 4:30 to 7:30. You guys will all be receiving an invitation. I have your emails. And we also will have a ribbon cutting that day, more than likely with the El Paso Chamber of Commerce, the El Paso Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, and you guys will all be invited. We encourage you guys to come, and we're very, very excited to be bringing this to the city of Socorro. And
Any questions for us, guys?
Questions?
Just wanted to pop in and give you guys a brief update. So thanks again for letting us come in and do that. We'll try to keep you guys updated Hopefully the dates won't change again. We are in the last stages of construction. I'm on the project every day. So everything's falling in line, so hopefully the dates won't change as far as opening. And the week prior to opening, we have to go through, of course, our life safety code inspection. So that should go okay. And as Tom said, November the 9th, we can start accepting those first three.
And I know I mentioned to you right before the meeting, people were asking where they apply. Did they go to the website?
Yes. It's good.
SeniorCareCenter.com.
Correct. And then type in, they click careers, and then they do type in Socorro and pull up all the positions.
Thank you. Thank you.
We have two billboards, one of them on that, sustainable coming east. And we got a tremendous amount of calls for people that are inquiring about career job opportunities, as well as I received a call today for someone wanting to house their grandkids, both of their grandkids. So, come one, come all, to have them apply. And any questions? Yes.
Oh, we're very excited to have you. We went to the tour. It's a great facility. And I used to work in nursing home right out of high school, so.
That's the way of the future. I don't want to take up too much more time, but that's the way of the future as the baby boomers and the population seems to be getting a tad bit older. Like I said, the mentality is to go park somebody there. It's not a nursing home. It's a skilled nursing facility and rehabilitation center. Okay.
And if someone chooses to live there, that's their home. We have dedicated, rooms and halls and things like that for those folks who are there. That's what, they want to stay there. That's their home.
And luckily, everything is kind of moving this way. This is the one that
Yeah,
everyone's
plus
forward
construction
right
out here.
And there's a lot of people here that used to travel all the way to the Philadelphia area, Providence here, the Wonderful Center area, now they say close to home. So I want to thank Bill and the corporate office for doing that, and you all for allowing it to happen on your own turf, literally. So,
Thank you for the idea, sir. Thank you.
thank you very much.
Thank you. All right, we go ahead and approve the consent agenda. Motion second.
Second.
Motion second to approve the consent agenda.
Victor Pérez,
Aye.
Pedro Rodríguez is absent. Anthony Banda,
Aye.
Sergio Cox,
Yes, ma'am.
and Gloria Rodríguez is absent.
All right, Council, can we go ahead and look at item 27? Mr. Herzog is here.
Motion to approve 27-4. Second.
Motion second, make move up item number 27.
Can we also look at item number 31, Mr. Roosevelt is here.
Yeah.
Can we keep that in motion, please?
27-31 for you.
All right, do a second. Second. Motion second to move up item number 27 and 31.
Victor Pérez,
Aye.
Pedro Rodríguez is absent. Anthony Banda, Sergio Cox,
Yes, ma'am.
and Gloria Rodríguez is absent.
All right, 27, discussion action on the proposed change order number 3 for the Leadership Bridge project. My announcement.
Good evening, Mayor, Council.
Good evening, everybody.
Before we got that, this is the last change order for this project in the amount of $2,391.17. This is the final result after the revision and orientation by Verbal Act, because at the beginning, the contractor presented a bigger list of activities that they wanted to be considered for payment, ranking from over $30,000, and this is the final number that recommended also by the engineer and also by Mr. Verbal.
I do have a question for Mr. Young.
Sir?
Is it finalized? Is it done?
That is correct.
Have we had a final inspection, final approval, everything? All the concerns that were voiced earlier about the practicing and like that? Everything's all right?
Well, we have missing 2% of
Well, and
project.
the canal, the bridge, the actual bridge, we have to wait for the water to clear out before they can go in there and complete that part of the project. But everything else has been completed.
And also the city, from the medallion of the city, also is, that will be installed at the end of the project, because we we don't want them to still,
So we still haven't done the final inspection?
not the final time.
No, it hasn't been completed.
Nothing completed. So it's supposed to be.
But based on the issues that we had, we did provide them a punch list, and then they went back and did the work that needed to be done in order to meet our needs. Yes.
So we're okay with it, you know?
Yes, sir. All right, we have a motion?
Mr. I just want to, Mr. Brett, you have anything to add to this, sir? Anything at all from your legal side?
Just a report from the original submission, we've just gone back and they've now complied with the terms of the contract, provided backup documentation, which has been reviewed, approved by the engineers, and was proper. And the numbers submitted to less than the numbers originally.
Right on time, sir. All right, so we have a motion?
Motion to approve. Motion to approve already? I'll make the motion to approve.
For a second?
Second.
Motion second to approve.
Victor Pérez.
Aye.
Rene Rodríguez is absent. Anthony Gándara.
Aye.
Sergio Cox.
Yes, ma'am.
And Gloria Rodríguez is absent.
Number 31, discussion action, directing staff to acquire Rome Street for immediate paving.
Mr. Brokeback?
We have a second.
I'll second it.
Any questions for
Mr. Brokeback?
Well, I guess what do we know about Rome Street? Who owns it? What will be the challenges? Is there anything?
This is fine. This is why I got Mr. Brokeback in here. Since he's been so active on helping us to get these other streets all straightened out, such as Burt, Rio Vista, Leopard, Parker, and all those things that Mr. Brokeback has been working. But most of the streets, most of the right of way on the streets have not been deeded to the city of Sequoia. Am I correct? Yes, sir. And what I would like to do is help get this street deeded to the city. Is there any issues with this street, Mr. Junior, that Mr. Brokeback can handle?
No, as a matter of fact, I have 90% or 95% of be dedicated by owners of the city of Socorro. We have only one missing owner as we haven't located.
You have no kid?
So like priorities.
So everything has signed, everything is in agreement to dedicate their portion to the city of Socorro.
And then, of course, we'll have to just show it to Mr. Brokeback, so he can make sure it's legal, as we did these other streets, for the right of way and everything.
Yes, we don't.
So this is like private meeting where everybody's willing to donate it or not, except for that one person.
Well, we obtained the signature for every single person, right?
There's one holdout.
That's the same, that's how private meeting is, right? That we have one person who's not willing to.
We had, it was fixed.
But that took a while. So-
We don't know yet if we're going to be facing the same situation because we haven't talked to the owners. Yeah, and I don't know if they are willing to dedicate it to sell or not.
Well, let me suggest this, and this is the first, I want to be hungry to see what Sam knew about this current state. If we have most of it, but not all of it, well, there's two obvious steps that we need to take. Number one, let's talk to the one holdout, see what, take their temperature. Two, let us look at the history of public use and other factors to see if implied dedication is even a possibility.
Right, and that's what we.
And that is a.
Mine is that you cannot find the owner.
I cannot find the owner yet.
And this would be where, if you have any difficulties with this, Mr. Jones, this would be where we would have to approve you being able to turn it over to Mr. Brokeback, authorize Mr. Brokeback to work on this project. Is that right? Am I correct on that?
Yes.
So this is why, if we're having, at the point right now, if you're having an issue with one holdout, Mr. Jones, then maybe we need to have our legal get involved. At this point,
I have a problem.
we want
Yeah,
to
you should bring back to us an update.
we want to make sure that you're authorized to go ahead and Mr. Brokeback take it from there.
Yes.
All right, so we have a motion and a second.
Victor Pérez.
Aye.
Rene Rodríguez is absent. Anthony Gándara.
Aye.
Sergio Cox.
Yes, ma'am.
And Gloria Rodríguez is absent.
All right, back up to the regular ordinance, page number 10. Introduction, first reading, and calling for a public hearing on ordinance 378, an ordinance of the city of Socorro, Texas, creating a building and standards commission, appointing the members of the planning and zoning commission to serve in the buildings and standards commission, amending chapter 6, article 4, and chapter 28, article 2 of the code of ordinances of the city of Socorro, Texas, to appoint Buildings and Standard Commission to hold public hearings related to substandard buildings and administrative nuisance hearings. Do we have a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion second to approve.
Victor Pettis.
Aye.
Rene Rodriguez is absent. Anthony Ganda.
Aye.
Sergio Cox.
Yes, ma'am.
And Gloria Rodriguez is absent.
Number 11, introduction, first reading, and calling for a public hearing on ordinance 379, amending chapter 42 of the City Code of Socorro, Texas, regarding traffic rules and regulations relating to school buses and school bus stop signs/arms, creating a civil penalty and providing for a civil fine and penalty. Do I have a motion?
Second.
The motion to approve, and second.
Victor Pettis.
Here. Sorry.
Rene Rodriguez is absent. Anthony Ganda.
Aye.
Sergio Cox.
Yes, ma'am.
And Gloria Rodriguez is absent.
Number 12, introduction, first reading, and calling for a public hearing of an ordinance amending the city's Socorro master plan and changing the zoning of tracts 5A and 6B1A, block 27, Socorro Grant, at 11661 Socorro Road, from R1 single family residential to C1 light commercial. Do I have a motion?
Motion to approve for discussion.
Second.
No motion, second to approve. Now let's remember to do discussion on this one for the public hearing itself. I think how you have the discussion on right now.
Yeah, I just want to hear a little detail on it from Mr. Leon, if you don't mind. In case there's questions later on for the hearing. This is item number 12, right?
Number 12. This is the location of the property. They want to.
Oh, yeah, okay.
I think so, James.
We can't see it, so.
It is.
Still item there.
Well, just give us some background.
Just give us a background.
Okay, the property located at the intersection of Figueroa and Socorro Road. The intention of the owner is to create a business because they have a detached dwelling previously used for driveway. And they want, it's a big property, they want to create a small hall for parties. Yeah, party hall. And they are not planning to sell any beer, just during the day. And one of the conditions is they, excuse me, they are not authorized to use any city's right of way for parking. And they need to fence the existing swimming pool.
No, you can't bring it up, huh? Can't show the map on it?
Chris Escape.
Because what I have here on this little map here, because I have here, Mr. Leon, I see, and I wanted a clarification on it. I see an easement between the neighborhoods. And then I see the property in question leads over into the easement, into the, what looks like a section of property that's been cut out on the map. And I wanted clarification on this easement because it looks like we might have a problem with traffic being able to go through there, travel through there. You see, I don't want to bring up the map. You see what I'm talking about, another landlocked? Yes, sir. And yeah, so I'd like a clarification on that, if I could. Yeah.
Well, why don't we talk about that during the public hearing, and he's having issues right now.
Well, but if it has to go back, it's cleared up, we may not need that, but we yet, right?
Well,
We may not want to call it public hearing.
This
There's a
is
question about the property lines.
No, because if we deny it, we won't call that.
this is the introduction.
Yeah, you can change it later.
Can I have a copy?
Yeah.
I understand that. When I saw this, the question came on my mind, I'm saying, I'd like clarification on it because I can see a potential problem there with the easement. And if we need these people to later on come back and say, hey, you know, we're willing to deed for the easement so you guys can have
We'll
access.
talk about it at the next meeting, like I said, it's just the introduction, you don't actually have to.
You understand?
Yes, I'll confirm that.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Check.
We've done a number of these now, so there's, I'm going up the same learning curve as we all are. And I think you've heard me say this before, anytime we go from an R zoning to C zoning, our recommendation is, number one, you need to limit it, impose a special condition limited to the requested use, in this case, an event hall. Otherwise, if you don't, then you're opening it for all other, all uses that are permitted in light commercial. And two, I would, because of the nature of the surrounding area, it's pretty easy to find you a change conditions in the area. That's what you need to show zoning change.
So do we,
I think you're fine as you are. I would simply make a fact finding, that including the motion, I would include a fact finding that there are conditions in the area that change, and to impose a special condition limiting the use for the event hall.
So, well, let me ask you this, Mr. Martinez, why you brought it up? This is requesting the first hearing, the first reading. Can we just go ahead and deny the first reading and wait until all this other information is correct, cleared up, and then come back for the first reading?
Yeah, you can always deny it. I mean, you can always choose not to introduce it, even though it's first reading, sure.
With the understanding that we're going to try to get clear what Mr. Martinez is concerned
but if you
about.
deny it, you don't just deny it.
Deny it?
Because then you're denying the call for a public hearing. So if you're saying no, then you don't bring it back to the second reading, because you didn't have it first.
You have to start over. Same as it.
You keep
Zoning
raising
changes are a delay requirement before they reapply?
No.
They can just reapply.
Yeah.
Well, actually, you can just bring it back, the same application.
Can we postpone it then?
Yeah, that's what I said for the first one.
I think that the best option would be.
Did you get one, voted no?
Who made the motion?
You did, Mr. Fox.
I'll withdraw my motion.
All right.
Motion to postpone item.
Second.
We have a motion to postpone in a second.
Victor Pérez.
Aye.
René Rodríguez is absent. Anthony Miller. Sergio Cox.
Yes.
And Gloria Rodriguez is absent.
Number 13, introduction, first reading, and calling for a public hearing of an ordinance amending the 64 master plan and changing the zoning of lot 11, block 2, Lynn Park replat at 301 Dunnet Drive from R2 medium density residential to C1 light commercial. No motion. Come on, guys.
You just, I'm trying to recall.
There's a first reading, right?
Yes.
This is the,
Motion to.
Do a second. A motion second. Go ahead.
Victor Pérez.
Aye.
René Rodríguez is absent. Anthony Miller.
Aye.
Sergio Cox.
Yes, ma'am.
And Gloria Rodriguez is absent.
Number 14, introduction, first reading, calling for a public hearing of an ordinance amending the city's core master plan and changing the zoning of lot 4, block 15, Country Green at 10905 Northwood Drive from R1 single family residential to C2 general commercial. Do I have a motion?
I have a problem with this too. I need to ask some questions of Mr. Leon. So, just for, I'll make a motion to approve for discussion purposes of the questions I have.
Yes. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion is second.
Mr. Leon, if I remember correctly, we had an issue in the past on North Loop being commercial. And then the media on the backside, most of those being residences, they were facing the residential area, Media Street. And then little by little, these businesses would open up, like Hector's Landscaping and restaurants and so forth. And they would include all of that lot to be commercial, as they little by little got commercialized. Is there a problem? I don't know. Is there a problem with the fact that Media still has residents on the other side? Or if I remember correctly, there was something about the gates and the openings of these commercial buildings opening up in the Media. Do you remember?
well, the commercial district is not allowed to have communication to the residential district.
Right.
What you mean, right?
Right.
And obviously, at the time of the approval of this zoning, the property needs to comply with that, for that regulation also.
So did we pass an ordinance or did we have a regulation that said, no, it could not open up to legal?
Okay, the ordinance is already in place. The ordinance is already in place,
Restricting it, right?
restricting the access.
Okay, so it's understood still. Yes. Okay.
President, motion and second.
Victor Pérez. René Rodríguez is absent. Anthony Randall. Sergio Cox.
Yes, ma'am.
And Gloria Rodríguez is absent.
Number 15, public hearing on ordinance 376, an ordinance of the city of Socorro, Texas, adopting amended organization chart for the city of Socorro. It is 6:07. Public hearing is now open. Anybody would like to speak on this issue? Now is the time to go ahead and do so. It is 6:28. Public hearing is now closed. Number 16, second reading and adoption of ordinance 376, an ordinance of the city of Socorro, Texas, adopting an amended organization chart for the city of Socorro. Do you have a motion on this?
Motion made. Second.
Motion is second.
Victor Pérez.
Discussion, Mayor, please.
Go ahead.
I'm just looking at the organization chart, and in it, it shows me a direct link from the police chief to mayor and council. And vice versa. That means that mayor and council can go straight to the police chief, bypassing his manager, and so forth. Is that what it means? In my interpretation?
They changed that in the previous administration.
I just want clarification on this. What this means is, if any council member has a question of the chief of police, we don't have to go through a chain of command, we don't have to go through channels, and we would just direct it to the chief of police,
For questions.
right?
I think that might be.
And vice versa. The police chief does not have to go through chain of command and come up and talk to council members about issues.
I would say no, because I think one of
That's
the.
what I'm asking, I want clarification on that.
Well, I think that more than anything else that relates to the hiring and the firing, because we have to approve the hiring. But obviously, the ordinance itself can't contradict the charter, and the charter says that we don't have authority over any, that's what I'm saying.
So the city manager still has authority over the.
Yeah, it's just that in the charter, it just keeps it to the civil service ordinance saying that they have authority over that, but we don't actually have the authority to say, chief, go do this, go do that, and we can take that out, but we don't really need to have that.
Is that right, Mr. Martinez? Mr. Martinez, can I ask Mr. Martinez input on this?
What he said. That's actually correct.
What I'm saying is correct.
What he said.
The
The ordinance can't override the charter. More importantly, the text of the ordinance doesn't actually say that. It doesn't actually say that the chief reports directly to the council. That dotted line, I think the only reason that dotted line is there is because the council is going to hire the chief.
Just for the hiring purposes.
Because the charter does say that, it's the wording, it says, due to the fact that the chief can influence policy. And that's-
Debate?
Yeah.
Okay.
So in other words, we can't go towards her.
No. This is that it's the only employee that we have to hire. and
So
fire.
then for clarification, the only function between the city, the chief of police and the council is for hiring and firing. And everything else, which is procedural and internal personnel, still goes
Yes,
to the.
and I mean, technically, even because charter brings it back to the ordinance says that we don't even have to hire a fire police chief. That's only through the ordinance. The charter itself doesn't say that you have to do that.
Right.
Jim is like, yeah. So if you even wanted to, you would take us out of the equation. That's our future. Okay. We have motion second.
Victor Pérez.
Aye.
René Rodríguez is absent. Anthony Randall.
Aye.
Sergio Cox.
Yes, ma'am.
And Gloria Rodríguez is absent.
Number 17, public hearing on ordinance 377, regulating proper storage, handling, accumulating, transporting, and disposal of scrap tires. It is 6:31, public hearing is now open. Anybody who'd like to speak on this issue now, they want to go ahead and do so. It is 6:31, public hearing is now closed. Item number 18, second reading and adoption of ordinance 377, regulating the proper storage, handling, accumulating, transporting, and disposal of scrap tires. Do I have a motion?
Motion to approve? Second.
Do I have a motion second?
Victor Pérez.
Aye.
René Rodríguez is absent. Anthony Randall.
Aye.
Sergio Cox.
Yes, ma'am.
And Gloria Rodríguez is absent.
19, discussion action on approving job description for a part-time clerk for the municipal court. Do I have a motion?
Motion to approve.
Do I have a second? The motion second, Mr. Pettis, second, Mr. Cox. Any questions?
Well, I'm just gonna give you the general purpose administration. Under general supervision, good evening, council and
discussion and action on resolution 488, authorizing the city of Socorro to submit a grant application in the amount of $44,956.90 to the Homeland Security Grants Division under the Operation Border Star 2016 grant cycle. A motion second.
Victor Pérez,
Aye.
Rene Rodríguez is absent. Anthony Randall, Sergio Cox, and Gloria Rodríguez is absent.
Number 21, discussion and action regarding citizen responsibility for weed control. Is this an action item?
That's what it says. That's how it came out.
What will be?
I am recommending the council direct the city manager to craft that ordinance.
Oh, okay, so you got a motion.
Wait. Hold on. Discussion on job description. Discussion action regarding.
For 21.
Discussion action regarding citizen responsibility. Say again, Mr. Locke.
Regarding weed control, I am making the recommendation that council direct the city manager to draft an ordinance making property owners responsible for weeds in front of their property.
That would be regard.
Is it open for discussion here?
Want me to do a motion?
It's a good one, but I did this, that's what I went to San Antonio for. I want to discuss.
Yeah.
This motion to postpone, motion to delete.
All right, do I second? You can second.
But, I mean, I want to hear what Sir Martinez
Second.
has to say.
Second, okay.
A motion,
I want to
to
discuss.
go ahead, Mr. Jones.
I went to San Antonio, and I talked to TML about this, because one of our constituents had approached all of us about this and asked. And there is no issue whatsoever about us generating an ordinance, that would make people take care of the right of way portion. This is what I specifically asked your attorney to TML about. When I asked it, TML gave it some thought, and then they said, they came back with an, and there was 3 attorneys there. They came back and said, yes, you can do it. There should not be an issue. Other cities are doing it as well. There is some issue about enforcing an ordinance when you have selective enforcement. You got to be real careful that we make everybody abide by it, to include those that have their own yards that are dirty and messy, and for some reason or another, we have not been able to make them take care of their own property within their own. This was a caution that was given to us by attorneys from TML. Several council people were there, and they voiced an objection to this, because the question that was put out was in general so that other cities could follow suit. And there were some other councilmen that had an issue with it because of the, I guess, selective enforcement of the political issues with it behind it. I just want you to know that I did address it with TML, and they said, yes, you can do it, you can create an ordinance, there's issues to it.
Just a question. The crux of it is that we want our citizens to be responsible for the cleanup or the upkeep of the yard, whatever in front of the property. Is that on their side of the property line or on the?
It's on the city side of the property.
Okay, so then at that point, wouldn't that be considered public right of way to be kept by the city?
Yes, however, Mr. Martinez today did some legal research, and there's a lot of precedent. It's very clear in Texas law that we're allowed to do that.
We can do that. Now, whether we choose to, is another question.
Well, there's 3 reasons I'd like the council to consider it, and I bring this up because a citizen also approached me a number of times on this, and I said, okay, I'll take it to council. I'm happy to go honestly either way on this. Reason number 1 is because the citizen asked me to do it, and it seemed like a good idea. Number 2, as I show here on the background, it costs the city about $20,000 annually. Some of that actually goes into right-of-ways that we would be responsible for anyway. In other words, there's no residence there. It's a street like Passmore where there's a lot of public land and no clear ownership. And over 200 mandates. About half that goes into mowing areas that are definitely city, there's no question. But a lot of that goes into mowing the weeds in front of people's property. About half. The second reason is because it's a regional standard. City of El Paso, County of El Paso, City of Horizon, and these are only the ones I can put on this page, they do it that way. They make the citizens responsible for the weeds in front of their property. on the city or public right of way. So this is a chance for the city to save money, save man-hours within the Public Works Department that we can use for other priorities that all of you have and all of you have requested from me. When are we going to get to the next project, which is your top priority? And we would be in conjunction with the regional standing on this. So my recommendation is that the council direct the city manager to draft an ordinance to make those property owners responsible. We can save the city some money, puts a lot of time into other projects that are also important and be important to the community.
And who likes the same thing? You like it?
No.
I do.
I thought the same thing as Mr. Pettis. I mean, we're going to be responsible for our right.
Yeah, there are
Well, of course, but in Verizon, the majority of Verizon has sidewalks, has driveways. So they're, that's the cool part.
But poor part.
Oh.
The rest of the poor parts too.
See,
City Clerk, one thing? Does report, Mr. Pettis asked, on which side of the property you're said something, I mean, it makes sense, but legally probably not precisely correct. It's on our side, the sidewalk is on our side. Well, actually, it's still the property owner's property, they own it. We have a public right of way, if they dedicate it as a public right of way, the city has an easement. So in legal terms, the homeowner still owns the underlying fee to that dirt. We have an easement to use it for a public sidewalk and then the parkway beyond that. And actually, in some situations, it's even weirder. In many subdivisions, particularly the newer ones, the lot isn't the lot where the home sits. The lot actually extends to the middle of the street. That's the lot. That's the lot that your house sits on. It goes to the middle of the street, across the street, their lot comes to the middle and they meet. But they give a public easement to use the street as a public right of way. So it's still the homeowner's fee, but we have a public easement to use it as a city street. And all of which, the only other thing I was going to say is, yes, I think you can do this. You can make the homeowner's property adjacent, the property owner maintain the property that they dedicated as a public right of way, where you will come into, and you can address it in the draft of the ordinance, where you may see some unexpected results or the most controversy is what they call double frontage lots. If you have a front lot facing the street and there's a rock wall behind you and it's a whole rock wall that goes along the subdivision, well, it applies to that. It applies to the rear as well. They're going to have to maintain the sidewalk and the parkway behind them. And what do you do? And the people for whom it creates problems are the ones who are say, well, I have to drive to the end of that street. It's the end of my subdivision, and it's full houses down and go all the way around and full houses back to get to my back parkway. And I'm old and I don't walk very well.
And you have that instance, for example, on Moon Road and Waco, where you've got a subdivision.
Exactly.
Yeah, yes.
See, in talking to people there, I know that a lot of the council people, other cities objected to it because they felt like it could be very political. We wouldn't have to do a hearing anyway to create new ones. We have to have a public hearing.
Yes.
So we have to set up a hearing for it.
This is my concern, actually, is that, and I understand the rationale. The only thing that concerns me is that, and we've heard it, during rainy season, the weeds grow like weeds. And so, as part, and if anything, what I heard is, I just want the weeds cut. I want the weeds cut. And so, if anything, our constituency sees that portion of our services as the least that we could do for them. And so that's where I'm a little hesitant about having that.
I just think it kind of goes both ways. I guess like we're gonna ask people to take care of cities right there when basically they're gonna do our job for us. And that's a look at me. That's a look at me.
Mr. President, for them taking care of parks.
Or like for example, they're gonna tell, well, why are you doing your job? And basically, if I'm assuming that it's ordinance to have effect, have teeth, you're gonna have to put a fine or something similar to that. So then you're gonna fine people for not taking care of something that technically, whatever, doesn't belong to them. But then on the flip side of that, you don't see a city worker going into their property and fixing it up because that's legal, because that's their property. So my thing is that if we want to go into finding more of a solution for this, maybe having volunteer days. I know that when you adopt the highway on the Texas, you do quarterly, and you go out there and you clean it up and whatnot. I know we have a sandbag day. You know, if we know that we have an issue with weeds, we can always call volunteer day, but once we volunteer, help us out clean up the weeds. I mean, that's always an alternative, because ultimately, I mean, you're gonna ask people to do something that we're doing right now. I mean, that's not gonna work.
And I have an issue too, Mayor, if I may. I have an issue too in trying to force people to clean outside of the property. When we're having issues with property all over the city of Socorro, like, for instance, the Buford Depot property, where the railroad owns that property, and the railroad sit there and told us they can't clean their property for another 3 or 4 months, and it's a mess. I've had neighbors down the street go out there and try to clean that property themselves for a section of it. They take it upon themselves to trespass and clean it, that's up to them. But see, we're having those issues on getting ordinances to our inspectors to go out there and make people clean their yards. And then here we go in with another law that says we also have an ordinance that you have to clean the property in front of your house too. So in front of your property. I think we need to study this a little more before we take any action on it. I think it's a good idea, but I'm just wondering about enforcement possibility on it. I don't know if we can do it.
I mean, motion on us to delete.
Yeah, motion to delete, so.
All right.
For now, if we bring it back there, I guess, for different ways. I'll give you two, but we'll work on it. All right, so.
All right, motion to delete.
Good idea.
Victor Perez,
Aye.
Rene Rodriguez is absent, Anthony Randa,
Aye.
Sergio Cox, and Gloria Rodriguez is absent.
Number 22, discussion action regarding changes to scope of work and project design, including an option for prefabricated restroom for models of improvements.
Can we have a presentation before?
Now, I just read the Martian. I don't know if you read the Martian, but this prefabricated restroom is not the Martians.
You just read the motion. I just read the motion.
I motion to approve for now, so we discussion on the presentation.
Okay, motion to approve.
No motion, second.
Yes.
Motion second to approve.
I'm sure everybody in council remembers our lively discussion a couple months ago when we discussed the expensive restroom option versus the porta johns option. At that point, no intermediate solution was proposed, was brought up by Parkdale Smith and Cooper. They had actually pointed out to me that maybe we would want to consider an intermediate option. I did some research, checked online, talked to some manufacturers. You see some costs in there. They are much more reasonable than the $200,000 to $300,000 that was discussed in council a month and a half ago. I think it'd be a fine option. These are concrete, so it's not something that would be shabby. It's not something that would be easy to vandalize. The $75,000 option that I was sent plans on, it's small, but it's 2 holes on each side. It's 2 toilets on the ladies' side, a toilet and urinal for the men, and it does include enough storage space that we can fit a mower, some tools in there as well. $75,000 plus. I got an estimate from Parkdale Smith and Cooper of $20,000 for site utilities, so that would be under $100,000. Would save us a whole lot of money on the restroom. My proposed motion for council is that council directs the city manager to direct Parkdale Smith and Cooper to include an option for the Mora Rosas Park plan with a prefab restroom. I think, Jim, that's a little different than the way it reads with your recommendation. No, is that okay? Quick compromise solution.
I have a question. If we were to approve this, one of these designs, what would be the total cost? We're originally at $300,000.
We could get a restroom, depending on manufacturer, for between 100 and 150. So half or a third of the 300,000 was brought up first.
That still goes to mine. That still goes to mine.
Let me ask you a question too. Was there anything brought up about a septic tank system? Did you bring it, talk to them about possibly, instead instead of, so we lower the cost for. This is Renee's fault. I want you guys to know, he was sick when we went to San Antonio, and I'm still sick. Anyway,
They were sitting side by side.
we were, as a matter of fact, on the plane. The septic tank system, the idea of cutting the cost quite a bit, I brought it up in one of the meetings. Did you talk to them about that?
No, I don't talk to them about that.
We could also cut the cost down some there too. You mean, no? Good.
It was the idea that, there was on-site wastewater management,
Yeah.
but, I'm not sure what it was.
Well, how do you feel about this other?
I like the idea of the prefabricated restrooms. We did meet with North Valley Water, and the sewer lines are going in there in the next couple of months. The project's already been approved, and they're moving forward. So I'm just saying, if we leave the design the way it is, once the sewer lines come in, then you can put the restrooms. Either with the prefabricated ones or, like for right now, I mean, we should start on the park and then get the restrooms once the sewer lines get. That's my recommendation.
So you
That way we don't have to pay more on the design, because the design's already ready to go.
So you're accepting this option
Yeah.
as an option?
All right, we have a motion second.
However, with the understanding that the restrooms won't be until the sewer lines.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll run, everybody.
If they get them in, just.
Mayor, are we amending the motion to this or just to approve number 22?
To approve that recommendation.
So we'll be off the record.
What's the motion for right now?
It's with pleasure recommending now.
The proposed motion is the council directs the city manager to direct Marco Smith and Cooper to include an option for the Mora Rosas Park plan with a prefab restaurant.
So,
We have a motion second.
Victor Pérez,
aye.
Rene Rodríguez is absent, Anthony Randall,
Aye.
Sergio Cox,
Yes, ma'am.
and Gloria Rodríguez is absent.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Number 23, discussion action regarding the mural wall on Horizon Boulevard. I think we have three options on this one. Can we make a motion to go with the Socorro High option?
Yes, but I want permission también to, I like to thank.
No second. No second. All right. I haven't listened to the people tell me now, and now that I drive, I'm like, oh, I have to look at this. Go
So
ahead.
everyone has seen it, that it's on Horizon, just as you cross the railroad tracks going south.
We couldn't, and I apologize, couldn't we enlist the assistance of perhaps, art students from Socorro High School?
Well, that's what it's the motion.
Okay, I'm sorry, it's just that,
All
I'm,
We definitely supply stuff, we go out there and hang it in.
I apologize, it's just that,
So you're,
my, I'm Rainbow, sir.
You're in Socorro.
I'm in Socorro. I haven't had any there, that's, my sugar's going down.
oh, you want some of that?
Yes, there's obviously a number of ways we can handle it. We could just hire somebody to paint the wall nice. But obviously, a lot of the young folks would be great for the future.
How will that work? Would it be like, because I know it's according to Socorro High, but for example, would we have the design to pick for them? Would we set designs and then pick one and have them painted, or how would you do that?
I work with the art staff at the school, have some kind of competition, have them maybe choose their top three. And we're doing the council.
I like that one there. I like that one a whole lot.
I mean, that's how the steel was developed.
I like it in the needles.
Almost 2009 state.
Bienvenidos to Socorro.
Got that set.
Now, where would MCL go? Retachado, what's it retachado? What's it called?
Cálmate, PCL.
How would you, I don't know, if you don't know, how would you paint it? Would they have the, for example, if they wanted to graffiti or paint, or how do you go about that? I don't know how the services.
And again, I don't know, hopefully the art teachers at the school would be smarter than you or I, Mayor, when it comes to those outdoor girls.
So we'll go with that one. We have a motion second to what's for high.
Victor Pérez, Rene Rodriguez is absent. Anthony Ganta.
Aye.
Sergio Cox.
Yes, ma'am.
And Gloria Rodriguez is absent.
That motion there, right?
Yes. Number 24, discussion action on the preliminary plat approval for Dairyland subdivision, replat R, being a replat of lots 5, 10, and 11, block 1, Dairyland subdivision, El Paso County, Texas. Is there a motion?
This is our second reading.
Yes. Yes.
Motion to approve.
Second.
The motion second.
Victor Perez.
Aye.
Rene Rodriguez is absent. Anthony Ganta.
Aye.
Sergio Cox.
Yes, ma'am.
And Gloria Rodriguez is absent.
Number 25, discussion action on preliminary plat approval for Dairyland subdivision, replat S, being a replat of lots 3, 9, 10, 11, 12, block 3, Dairyland subdivision, El Paso County, Texas. Is there a motion?
That's the same one?
Yes.
Is there a motion?
Motion to approve. Second.
Motion second.
Victor Perez.
Aye.
Rene Rodriguez is absent. Anthony Ganta.
Aye.
Sergio Cox.
Yes, ma'am.
And Gloria Rodriguez is absent.
Number 26, discussion action of preliminary plat approval for Villa Valencia Estates, Unit 1, being called Track 1B, Block 28, Socorro, France.
I'd like to do the presentation, sometime, motion to approve.
Second.
Second.
Motion second. What's going on, Sam? Have you read the motion?
No,
I'll make sure you answer this. So you go to more, I think, that's what you do.
Do you have an answer? Then you have a contract?
Are you gonna watch that? No, I don't think that's it. No, I'm not listening to it.
I'm not interacting.
I didn't mean to spoil it.
Well, the mayor wanted to like, oh, I'm not about that one.
But he allowed them to make the move.
In that subdivision, they are proposing to have a subdivision is, part of it is within the city of Socorro and the rest is within San Elizario. My plan, and I'm requesting this, a modification to the entrance.
Did you give me your copy?
No,
No, they're all written.
This is a modification to the entrance because the weight of the existing road is not sufficient. So they need to provide a minimum 60 feet of right-of-way, and they need to create a deceleration lane. And also, I'm requesting to have a future connectivity here and here for future interconnection.
Michael, regarding nation,
So they need to modify this. At the same time, they need to comply with a 2.5% of apartment. If you want to pay it in cash, that's fine, with the consent of council.
no parking, cash, you said no parking.
This is the preliminary, they are proposing to pay instead of doing the construction.
How much do we get out of that?
It has to be 2.5% of the total investment. I would say around 40,000.
But in this case, it would have to be of the total investment that's in our city limits.
Yeah.
not the whole subdivision.
Not only the,
Well, yeah, that sounds fine.
These are what, Sam, R1, R2s, what? R2s? No apartments, just apartments.
And so, for them to get to Socorro Road would be thinking it?
yes, sir. You have the location now. So I have all the
There's no, there's no open land.
You've got sufficient ponding area, you've got sufficient, request.
Yeah, Mike is working some here, but another problem
If he was to put, if we were to ask for a park, where would we put the park?
is,
Not with that, but
it's up to them, but.
They would lose it.
The we maybe like 6 units?
Right now, we're discussing what you recommend you rent, we're not making any other changes to the plan.
I mean, everybody's gonna go to Ding Ding.
Exactly. My intention to request two additional accesses is because the traffic generated here will be creating traffic congestion along Ding. But at the same time, with this provision, they will have the ability to connect with the additional subdivision right next to the area. But this is an empty lot. So without the provision, we're not going to be able to see the results.
But is this depending on somebody else? For example, if we say we want to park, somebody's like, nah, we want to park.
No, it's the city of Rosales.
No,
No, it's not our RTJ, it's within our.
Oh, it's dark?
Yes.
I thought you said it was half and half.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, no. Let me ask you, Raul Lozoya Drive, it goes out where? So what? I'm looking at the small map, I can't see where it goes.
Okay.
Raul Lozoya.
Is the continuation of this.
Because I was trying to look at some of the roads.
This is our portion.
We put some contingencies to expand some roads.
Yeah.
Okay, so what would they, Ding Dinger's here, they're coming in through Ding Dinger, right?
Yes, sir.
And they only have, and this would be what the future connectivity. Is this the Indians?
No, this is an.
No, this is at the far end of Ding Dinger.
Yeah.
You still gotta hit Ding Dinger and Walcott.
Okay, so the Indians are this way, right?
I guess the Indians will be up here.
Yes, and the other side.
Well, no, it's just that they're building their housing and doing all their stuff over there too. What I'm asking is simply, we have Ding Dinger as they're in and out to this neighborhood. What other exit points or entry points do we have for them to go out?
They have another.
Besides these two connections?
Here. They have another one. Check, another one here. But it's not part of the subdivision, they are connected to a different one, another subdivision. But the only access they have within our jurisdiction is this one, and for me, it's not sufficient.
It's not enough.
And I'm requesting this. They have, but the subdivision project doesn't go in this direction. No, they go on this.
They don't know that.
No, they don't go.
So, pero si entra por acá, las leyes de ahí, aquí. ¿Dónde van a salir por acá? Acá, hasta acá. Wow.
Any questions?
We're landlocked on those people in there, huh?
Yes, sir.
We're pretty much landlocked on those people in there.
Yeah, the business is kind of
Yeah.
All right, so a motion and a second.
We want the park.
Another exit.
And another exit.
That another exit.
To support.
And doesn't the ordinance say they have the option?
That's
yes,
approved by
yeah,
council.
the final decision comes from city council. Council says, no, we won't park. They can.
Oh, it says with the consent of council?
Yeah. So do we say that now? So we won't park?
Yeah, the recommendation.
All right, so do we make a motion to do that part?
That parking.
Parking, another
exit point.
It's a park.
All right, we have a motion and a second.
Pettis,
Aye.
Rene Rodriguez is absent. Anthony Randall. Sergio Cox.
Yes, ma'am.
And Gloria Rodriguez is absent.
Number 28, discussion action approving the unaudited financial report for August 2015. Anyone want this?
Don't have it tonight. Motion to approve. Second. Oh,
We have a motion and a second.
yes.
Victor Pettis,
Aye.
Rene Rodriguez is absent. Anthony Randall.
Aye.
Sergio Cox.
Yes, ma'am.
And Gloria Rodriguez is absent.
I just have a couple of questions.
We already passed it.
Well, we have to have discussion now.
Oh, we already voted on it.
Oh, we did?
Yes. Who's that? Council President. Number 29,
All right, we're.
discussion action approving the open bill application for the city of support. Do you want to
Motion to approve.
Do a second? That's the budget.
No, 29 is the open.
Yeah, that's the budget. That's the, that's the thing that gets people to see the budget and it'll go online.
Oh, okay, yes.
Gándara,
Aye.
Sergio Cox, and Gloria Rodriguez is absent.
Number 30, discussion action approving the city source application for the city of Socorro. Gentlemen, for this? This is what we reported with us.
Yeah. Motion to approve.
Okay, motion and second.
Victor Pérez,
Aye.
Rene Rodriguez is absent. Anthony Gándara,
Aye.
Sergio Cox,
Yes, ma'am.
and Gloria Rodriguez is absent.
Seconded.
Didn't you have we have something to discuss in executive session?
Oh, yeah, go ahead, go.
Motion to move into executive.
Do I second? Motion and second, executive.
Victor Pérez,
Aye.
Rene Rodriguez is absent. Anthony Gándara,
Aye.
Sergio Cox,
Yes, ma'am.
and Gloria Rodriguez is absent.
It is 7:04.